Hi, I'm Hub Arkush, along with Pro Football Weekly senior editor Mike Wilkening, as we continue our series of 32 NFL team training camp reports. And as the Pittsburgh Steelers go to camp, Mike, very few things in the last 2 decades in the NFL have been as certain as death as taxes as the Steelers in the playoffs. But this year, for the first time, a lot of obvious veteran turnover. Big changes on this roster. What about young people through the draft and veteran free agents coming in to make a difference?
Well, they're usually not active in free agency, and that was the case this year. But they made some big moves in the draft. And I think adding David DeCastro, it looks like he could start at right guard right off the bat, was a big move for them. Mike Adams, the Ohio State tackle, maybe he's the left tackle right off the bat. They could be a very young and very different-looking offensive line, and I think some would say it's probably the way to go, considering the struggles they've had protecting Ben Roethlisberger over the years.
Now, this is a team that will go into the season with their running back bell cow, Rashard Mendenhall, on the PUP list almost for sure. Where will they focus during training camp to make sure that this offense stays competitive?
Well, I think that running game is part of it. Isaac Redman gets first run at that job, but they just need to score more points. They need to be more consistent. They were 21st in points last year. That doesn't seem to add up with Ben Roethlisberger, with Mike Wallace, Antonio Brown. This is an offense that can really get it done. They've got to get a little bit more consistent. It'll be very interesting to see what sort of changes that Todd Haley puts into play.
Now, some would say when I ask you where do they focus on defense, well, they don't have to. They're good already. But, hey, Aaron Smith moves on. James Ferrier moves on. They've made some changes on this defense. Where will their focus be in training camp?
Well, you know, that young defensive line, I think, is something you keep an eye on. You've got some stalwarts, obviously, in Brett Kiesel. You've got Casey Hampton coming off the knee injury, though. So you keep an eye on that. They've got to force more turnovers. Only 15 last year. It's really amazing they were first in defense when they were forcing so few turnovers. And the pass defense, I think, remains a question. It's faltered in some big spots the last couple of years. So we got to see how they're going to play on the back end, if that's probably going to tell the tale for them in January.
Who are the young veterans who've already had a year or two in black and gold who need to make a difference this year for the Steelers?
Isaac Redman's a guy to keep an eye on. He's going to get, again, that first crack at the starting job. Played very well in the wild card loss to Denver. Cortez Allen, the corner, second-year guy out of the Citadel. I think he's someone that could press for more playing time. And somebody I liked when I looked at the film last year was Cameron Hayward, the defensive end out of Ohio State. I think he's someone that could be a little bit of a sleeper in terms of taking a step forward.
Well, Mike, it's a fact of life that every team in the NFL goes to camp with veterans on the bubble. That's just the way the league works. Who should be worried about their jobs in Pittsburgh?
Well, you know, I mean, as we mentioned, Pittsburgh did cull some veterans already. Some of the big moves, I think, have already been made. I think you keep an eye on a guy like Jonathan Scott, a guy like Jeremy Campitos, the punter, Drew Butler, Kevin Butler's son, competing for that job. You know, David Johnson kind of becoming more of a fullback. How does he fit into this offense? So I think most of the big moves the Steelers have made, they've already made. I think they're already in the books at this point.
And then, of course, we will watch the relationship between Ben Roethlisberger and Todd Haley. That'll be a training camp story for sure. For all 32 of our NFL team training camp opening reports, stay right where you're at ProFootballWeekly.com, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.